Programang ito ay rated SPG. Striktong patnubay at gabay ng magulang ang kailangan. Maaaring may masiselang tema, lengguwahe, karahasan, sexual, horror o droga na hindi angkop sa mga bata.
Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
I was emancipated really young. I just moved into emergency housing commission. Had to sleep in the lounge room because it had the only light bulb and I'm scared of the dark. For anyone not in Australia, housing commission, it's cheap units for houses owned by the government and rented to disadvantaged people, mostly junkies and welfare bludgers. Anyway, I was sleeping in the lounge room which had the front door attached when I heard the most blood-curdling screams. One junkie had poured boiling water over another chick, stabbed her repeatedly and cut off one of her teeth. I was laying maybe 10 meters away. 22. A child was raped and murdered. Guy was arrested and he was killed within 24 hours of being arrested in a community cell of like 6 inmates. Instead of segregation, he died and no one in the cell seen it. I only remember one of the details as I was on holidays at the time and only heard secondhand what happened. So a guy who lived around the corner had an argument with his wife over something, got pissed off and then shot her. People heard the gunshot and called the police, which prompted him to run away in his car down the main road about 2 kilometers to his parents' house, where he got into their gun locker, killed his parents, and then he had standoff with the police that lasted a couple of hours and ending him shooting himself. 24. We had a group of people who would pretend to be the cops, dressed in all black and wore ski masks and stuff, knock on your door, say they had a warrant, and if you open it up, they would force their way in and rob you. This went on for months, like month after month after month. They decided they were above the law, so their crimes kept getting worse and worse. One of their later houses they beat an old man until he had jaw, facial and skull fractures so bad he had to have a life flight to a major trauma center where he had emergency surgery. The next old couple they killed. They were sure the local police couldn't do anything. The newspaper even said the police had nothing to go on, and it just kept getting worse. One of their last home invasions, they just killed the homeowner as he opened the door for absolutely no reason. I realized that if someone has defended themselves earlier in the chain of criminality, things never would have reached this point. I ended up getting a Ring video doorbell and a Strikemaster 2-door reinforcement for each external door. I keep firearms in electric safes ready to use at any moment. Nothing like that is going to happen to my family. Number 25. There was a family in the area I used to live in and played soccer in the middle daughter. It was 3 girls. 2 were adults and 1 was still in high school, and the parents were very religious, the mother especially, and they had a lot of beliefs that and many people found strange. The eldest daughter, who was named I don't recall, had a serious mental illness that she managed perfectly well when she lived out of home. She had a job and had a decent life and all was well. The relationship she was in fell apart and she had to move back home for financial reasons. One of the rules her parents had was that she wasn't to take her meds anymore because they weren't what they considered godly. Things deteriorated over time and the parents continued to have chronic mental illness myself, and without my meds things descend into chaos quite quickly, so I can imagine what it would be like for her with her illness being more serious than mine. Her parents were told by their church to pray over her and everything will be okay. As I'm sure you can imagine, things were not okay. She lost her tenuous grip on reality and became unstable. She attacked her family while doing battle with a series of hallucinations that were telling her awful things about her parents and sisters. She took a sharp kitchen knife and went after her youngest sister in the middle one that I knew I wasn't home at that time, and she stabbed her to death in the kitchen. Her father kept trying to defend his youngest child while trying to settle the eldest, and he sustained serious injuries. The eldest followed him when he ran from the house and to get help, and she caught him from behind and stabbed him multiple times in the neck. He died in front of the lawn. The mother was injured as well but appeared not to be target of the eldest daughter's hallucinations, and she managed to survive. The girl was taken down by the tasers when the police arrived. They were called by neighbors who heard the commotion, and she was sent to a high-security facility where she's still now. She was very obviously not in control of herself at the time. She avoided criminal charges, and the mother moved away from the area. I feel for the mother's most. She essentially lost her full family. The youngest and her husband has been killed, and the middle child moved away eventually too, changing her surname when she got married and chose to disconnect from her mother. I know she blames her mom for what happened because she was the one who withheld the medication. I can imagine that the mom blames herself too. When that happened, it helped my mom to put my illness into perspective. If I'm treated properly, everything will be alright. It was there, but for the grace of God will go me moment. That was the worst crimes that happened in our area for quite a while. Years before that, there was a massacre, the Milpera massacre, if you want to Google it, between rival biker gangs who had and to continue to have a presence in that particular suburb. Since there was a child drowned during an exorcism after parents were told by priests or something that kid had a demon inside him and trying to force it out was the only way to save him. He was going through puberty, that's all. Kidnapping. The kidnapping of Michael Donahe, he is still considered missing, but it's been 20 plus years. You had to be pretty optimistic to believe he didn't meet a horrible fate. He was just a small boy when he taken, and the incident absolutely rocked my small crime-free city. It changed everything. Parents kept a much more careful eyes on us kids. Many of our freedoms were taken away. I still feel sick when I think about what horrible things might happen to that poor boy. Growing up, two brothers murdered their parents and put them in bags in the attic. They did this because their parents would let them go to a party nor a cell phone. This was when a cell phone were just becoming affordable at the upper middle class. DEA bus next door serial killers dumping ground 5 minutes from my house and Sandy Hook within a 30 minutes drive. We sold our house when I was 9 and moved a few miles away. The couple we sold the house to was nice enough but a little odd. I don't even know what it was, but I even noticed they were weird, and I was a little kid. Fast forward about 12 years, I'm in college, and these people have a son themselves. One day, the man cornered his wife in the dining room and blew her head off with a shotgun. They had been having marital trouble prior to that, but I'm not sure what exactly set him off. Kind of creepy to know what happened on my old house. The girl who got stabbed by the two Slenderman girls, my second cousin, my younger siblings, actually played with her 2 weeks prior to a family gathering. Crazy? Some kid beat another kid to death with a bat over an argument that had to do with something related to it. Mind you, the population in my town is like 8,000. This was crazy. Well, we got a serial killer running around. Now he's killed 7 people so far, referring to the current serial killer loose in Phoenix, Arizona. I live down in Dallas. I was packing for an international trip that night of the police shooting. I took note of the crowds after work and just made a mental note to stay inside for a while after I got home. I wasn't until I walked downstairs to get some tacos, and around 10 p.m. and a couple cops with sniper rifles were posted up in our lobby and told me to get the fuck back upstairs and we are on lockdown. That I realized some shit went down. What I witnessed that night and the following day really changed my perspective on a lot. They didn't show the majority of it on news. I have always been very supportive and stood behind a lot of social movements, but there is zero excuses for a 14-year-old to spit on a cop, tell me I was a Mexican bitch that he ought to rape, loot a 7-Eleven or do anything insane things that I saw. The Snowtown, Australia murders. In my city, some guys went around torturing people to death and then dissolve their bodies in a vat of acid, but they used the wrong type of acid, not strong enough, and people complained of foul smell. So the police investigated and found the semi-liquefied remains in barrels. 2 people ordered pizza and killed the teenage driver because they wanted to know what it's like to kill a man. 10-mile radius around my childhood home is like a catnip to serial killers and evil. BTK dumped one of his victims in a ditch a mile away from house before I was born. The Carr brothers murdered a group of 5 people in the soccer field 45 miles from my home. 6, one survived because she wore a metal hair clip that caused her bullet to ricochet away from her head. A man molested small children on the same street. The old lady that hated us kids ended up murdered by her own son. My mom was one to find out her since she started to smell the decomposing body, and a family member asked her if she was willing to go in for her. Tons of crimes that never recorded, gunshots going off in the dead of night, a scream that suddenly got cut short of. We were told to lay down on the floor while my father paced the house with a shotgun until he felt it was safe.